Hello, welcome back to NMI. Let's build and test a Kung Fu Flash from scratch. So what is Kung Fu Flash? It's an open source project started by King Jorgensen, and the objective is to implement a software defined cartridge, which we can see here. King used an STM32 connected to the cartridge bus. This design here, it can connect to the CPU bus of the Commodore 64 and interact with the CPU. Basically, the cartridge lives in, well, that's the standard for cartridges on the Commodore 64. There is an address space allocated for the cartridge. So this project, this board here, maps or connects into that address space, and then the ARM CPU is gonna decode all the accesses to those addresses and take the data from its internal flash and provide it back to the Commodore 64. Don't know if that is clear, but basically the CPU on the Commodore 64, the 6502, is going to try to read stuff from the cartridge, which is usually a ROM or an EEPROM. So, but instead, the ARM CPU here is going to intercept that request. It's going to look up inside its own flash memory and take the data from there and provide it back to the 6502. And then there is, as we can see here, a menu interface that allows you to select what is that you're going to present to the 6502. You can, we can see here, the Kung Fu Flash supports a number of special cartridges and also different file types. So CRT for cartridges, generic ROMs, disk image, that's pretty cool, tape images, programs, the UPD for firmware update, and text documents. So basically, as I was saying, when you select, as here, for example, this hero CRT, so this cartridge image, which is 16K, you basically, this is installed in the micro SD card here. So the ARM CPU is going to fetch that file, program or erase and program an area of the internal flash with that cartridge image, right? And then reset the CPU so that when the 6502 starts reading data from the cartridge, the ARM here is going to intercept those requests and provide the data from its internal flash as it was a cartridge. So it's a pretty neat design, and I'm looking forward to implement this because with this guy we can also read disk images. So D64 for the Commodore 64, D71 and D81. In my case, I'm especially interested in the D65 so that we can try the OS images that I mentioned earlier, right? But I don't have a Kung Fu Flash, so I did what I thought would be the best approach for me. I like assembling stuff. So here on this Git repository, we can find the hardware designs. So you can see this is KiCad design, and here we can see the PDF, the schematics. So the Kung Fu Flash, this version is using the STM32F405. And you can see here, let me see if we can zoom in. You can see here that there is not much happening. It's basically pure firmware, right? The cartridge connector basically connects to a lot of I/O lines on the STM32, and then we can see here addresses lines, the data bus line, and the other auxiliary lines, read and write, IRQ, NMI, reset. So there's a number of signals that we read from the connector, and the firmware is going to interpret them and make sure that we can decode the right address and provide the data timely. The firmware is also here. We're not going to dive into it, but it's pretty cool. So we can see here how the D64 fives are decoded. There's all how the magic happens is all in here, and it's pretty cool. So the next step now is assemble the PCB. I already ordered the PCB. I also ordered components. I have everything here that I need for building the kungfuflash. So let's get started. Okay, we'll use diode test. There's a plus sign there, so that is the LED anode. And here we are. This is the board fully assembled. Now all we have to do is program the microcontroller and test it. Oh, I need to solder the other side of the jumper. Okay, we're back. I tried to program the microcontroller and it didn't work, and I noticed that it was heating up. And guess what? I messed up pin 1 marking. But In my defense, I want to show you something. Let me see. See, there are two circles showing, one is pin 1, the top one, and the other, the larger circle, is not pin 1. So that was the cause of confusion for me, and I apologize for that. Fortunately, I managed to desolder the IC and solder it in the correct position, and now we can try programming it and see if it still works. There are two ways you can program the MCU in this board. Since it supports the bootloader, the USB bootloader, you can use the USB here interface for programming the MCU. That's one way. And the other way is using JTAG to program the MCU via these pins here, right? These headers. I'm gonna use the easier way. So what we have to do is to add a jumper here and another jumper here on top. So this way, oh, why this is not focusing properly? Yeah. So this way, this one powers the board from USB, and this other one puts the MCU in bootloader mode, right? So this way we're gonna be able to program the MCU using the USB port. So let's give it a try and see if it's still working. Okay, here we are. I have the Kung Fu Flash plugged into the USB. The jumpers are set. And if we do an LS USB, oops, LS USB, where is it? Here we can see. Yeah, so that's good news. The MCU was detected, so we see in DFU mode. That's good news. Now we're gonna need to use DFU utils. If you don't have it, you're gonna have to install. I already have it here. DFU util 091. Okay, now we're gonna run this command that I already have here. DFU util, this is the base address of the flash and the file that we want to flash. So let's go. And it's flashing. Good. Awesome. That's good news. So apparently we didn't kill the MCU by reversing it. Now we need to test it on the actual machine. Oh, just a quick note. Don't forget to remove the jumpers once you program the chip, right? Because you don't want, especially the one that provides this one. I'm going to remove it here. This one here, if you leave it on and you plug the Kung Fu Flash into the Commodore 64, you're gonna have some bad things happening, because the Commodore 64 is gonna try to power this board, and your USB is gonna try to do the same. Something bad can happen. So remove the two jumpers once you're done. Okay, here we go. We have the board here. I'm gonna plug it to the cartridge port, and fingers crossed. Let's power it on. Yes, it works. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna install it inside the enclosure. and we're gonna do some tests.
Okay, now we know that the board is working. I'm gonna install inside the enclosure. The enclosure, I 3D printed it here. It's also part of the GitHub repository, and I have to say it's an amazing design, really nice, and everything fits perfectly. So all we have to do is to put it here. The buttons are also included. I printed them in white, so the enclosure is black and the buttons are white. Well, basically that's the only filaments I have here. So okay, and let me check something. Yeah, the buttons are all working. Now we screw it here, and that's it. We have our kungfuflash. Now it's time for testing. Okay, the cartridge is inserted. I have a micro SD card with a couple images. I turned the light off so that we can see the LED. Let's turn it on. Reset. So I'm very happy with how the LED is lighting the key. I think it's pretty cool. So now we can take a look at the menu.
Okay, so here we have kungfuflash menu running. There are multiple ways you can navigate the menu. One of them is using the cursor keys up and down, or you can use the joystick connected to joystick 2. So let's take a look. Some games, 1942. Oh, okay. Choplifter. This game is so cool. Oh, this is joystick 1. Okay. Oh, I think I killed some balls. Oh, okay. Next. Oh, wrong port. Um, let's try Lemmings. See, this is an easy flash, large cartridge. Oh, nice diagnosis. That's pretty cool. Wow, the sound is amazing. it, ladies and gentlemen. It sounds really good. Amazing. Can we play it a little bit? It's a document, 42 pages, so I don't want to read this. I just want to play one level. Let's go! One. Oh, it's pretty good. Okay, so 8. And we are gonna dig. There's a wall here. That's pretty good. Very nice game. I love Lemmings and it's a very nice port. Okay. What else? Maybe we could try now Linux. Let's see. Okay. So here we are inside the disk. And let's load the loader. No comments. Starting Linux. Oh, yeah, it's trying to read from the physical drive. Yeah, that's probably it's gonna be a problem because the kungfuflash, the way let's try again. Yeah, it doesn't work. Let's try something else. This is for the ID 64. I don't have it. We do have River Raid. Yeah, let's play a little bit. I love this game. Oh, but it started in a very... Oh, no. It's... Okay. This game is so good. Ah. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I really love my kungfuflash. In the next video, I'm gonna use it for testing 2 very interesting operating systems. So, see you next time. Bye.